Hello, everyone. This is Monica, slightly different format. I had to get a really fancy mic for school because I'm a music major, and as you know, there's a little thing called the pandemic going on. So, as a music major, I now have to be playing remotely. So, yeah, I have this really fancy new mic, and one of the first things that I thought I would do with it, aside from play my music, is just talk and hopefully not make too many weird mouth noises. So this just test trial run, I guess, little podcast thingy is going to be about two shows, Dexter and You. And that isn't the name of a cheesy 50s short, Dexter and You. This is like, I'm talking about two separate shows that are called Dexter and You. So I've been watching a lot of Netflix lately, like all of us, and one genre I really like is crime. Not because I like to do crimes or anything, just because it's cool. Not crimes. Crimes aren't cool. So back in April and May, yeah, this is a really current podcast. Back in April and May, I was going through this show You recommended by a friend, and it's about this guy called Joe Goldberg who works at a bookstore in New York. He has an instant attraction to a customer called Guinevere Beck, who just goes by Beck, and goes about trying to get the two of them together, which is it's actually not cute or romantic at all because he's a stalker who is totally capable of murder and totally does quite a few times. After I finished that very quickly, oops, I started Dexter and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm actually really liking it so far. It's about, for those of you not in the know, a guy who works as a blood spatter analyst in Miami for the Miami PD, but plot twist, not really. He's a serial killer who kills other serial killers. So these shows, I kind of thought it was funny. They have a lot in common, which is why I thought it would be fun to make a little thing on it, even though You stopped being trendy back in February and nobody talks about Dexter anymore. So, what do they have in common? They both have main characters who are white guys with brown hair and brown eyes, main characters who deliver snarky, frequently funny first person narration. Both are serial killers who have a lot of drama about where to hide the bodies. Both have colorful casts of supporting characters. Both Joe and Dexter do what they do because of mommy issues. And apparently the authorities are super incompetent because neither characters have gotten caught. They both have blonde girlfriends. They both eventually make allies who know their true nature but turn out to be evil and worse than them. Like Love and Miguel Prado, I mean. And I guess that's about it. That's a lot of similarities, though. So, like, which one did I like better is the question none of you are asking. Well, I'm going to preface by saying that I like both of them. They're both really exciting and manage to have main characters who do horrible things that you somehow, if not like, you're at least invested in. The thing with You, though, is that at times while I was watching it, I was like, oh, I sure hope he doesn't get caught, before realizing, wait, he's a bad guy. And that's kind of the big difference between these two shows, is that Dexter does not kid himself about what he's doing. He doesn't pretend that it's good or anything. He kills because he's got this really severe trauma that's manifesting in a really violent way. He has this compulsion to kill, and sometimes he'll talk about how some of his victims are really better off gone, and that maybe the world's a better place, and that's interesting because it kind of makes you think. But he doesn't pretend that what he's doing is good. At times, especially at the beginning of season 5, he's really sad that he's not normal, and it's really moving, and at least for me, it was really moving. There's this scene at the end of season 1 where, we've been through a lot. It's really intense. It's intense right off the bat, season 1, but it ends and he has like this daydream fantasy thing where everyone knows his true nature and what he does, but they're like celebrating, like, thank you, Dexter, So it's like oddly moving, and I really like that part of the show. Joe, on the other hand, I have a harder time feeling sympathetic to him, and I kind of don't like that sometimes I find myself rooting for him because he kills innocent people. He tried to bury Candace alive, though he thought he accidentally killed her. Granted, he murders Beck. He murders Beck's ex-boyfriend and her former best friend Peach. Both of those people were kind of horrible, but they didn't deserve to die. Joe's attitude, though, is kind of like, well, I was protecting Beck. I even need to protect Beck from Beck. And it's like, that fits with the backstory and stuff. I'm not saying that makes it a bad show at all. Joe is really well written. He's a really well written character. And it is unsettling to the audience, probably on purpose, that they find themselves rooting for him. It does give the opportunity, though, for some seriously misaimed fandom, but I'm not like trying to inspire like a moral panic or anything. I don't think at all that someone who watches this show and likes Joe will be fine with stalking and murder in real life. It's like how I like this villain from Final Fantasy 15, but that doesn't mean that I think destroying the sun is cool and groovy. You know what I mean? So I don't think that shows always have to take a moral stance on what their characters are doing. I think that the natural consequences of their actions are enough for that. Like in Dexter, Breaking Bad, and to some extent you, even though he does get away with a lot and hasn't faced any life destroying consequences for his actions. Unless you can't marrying love, I don't think you have to make a strong and that's wrong statement. Of course, because that's just cheesy and that's really the result of good writing. There is a however, though. I'm thinking of Breaking Bad, which had a villain protagonist, and how in the later seasons they were really hammering home that even while we're viewing events from Walter's point of view, he's still an awful person. And I'm wondering if we're going to get more of that as You goes on, since it's going to get a third season, I hear. Not a big moralizing statement, because like I said, that's lazy writing. What I'm talking about is like basically consequences converging and making things sort of fall apart. So, yeah, those are some very brief thoughts on a show that people stopped thinking about all the way back in like April. So overall, I like Dexter better. I know it gets a lot of flack, and a lot of that is justified. Some of it has to do with that it had the misfortune of airing its weaker seasons at the same time Breaking Bad was just making rapid fire amazing episodes, making the weaker seasons of Dexter look even worse in comparison. But I like the tone of the show, and I think that the actors have really good chemistry together. And like I said before, I just think the whole way that this kind of odd situation is presented is I think it's really good. So yeah, that's just me ranting for a little while about something that I found kind of interesting, and who knows what I'm going to do with this audio track. It could just very well just be me messing around with my microphone when I have a spare 10 minutes. But so yeah, I hope that everyone has a nice day. If you're a student, we're getting towards the end of the semester. If you're a student, take care of yourself. If you're not a student, also take care of yourself. Yeah, have a nice evening. It's evening for me. Maybe it's morning where you are. That's valid. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.